Gamer here, back with another video. Today we're watching 10 April Fool pranks that went horribly wrong. Let's watch it. And sorry that I'm
10
uploading
more
late.
April Fool's pranks that went horribly wrong. Number 10. Google Mic Drop. For April Fool's 2016, Google introduced a feature to Gmail that gave users the option to not just send an email, but send plus mic drop. This would attach this GIF of a despicable me minion to the email, and then stop the sender receiving any of the replies to the message, as the GIF was supposed to represent them having the last word. This may seem like a harmless enough idea, but it didn't go down quite the way Google expected. Many users clicked the button by mistake, as it was located right next to the real send button. This led to the GIF being sent in highly inappropriate situations, such as this message of condolence from a funeral home. One man even claimed to have been fired as a result of the prank. He was a writer who'd sent some articles to his boss, but never received her feedback, and therefore missed a crucial publication deadline. In the end, Google disabled the feature and released a statement apologizing. Number 9. Alien Invasion. You'd think that a newspaper article describing an alien invasion on April 1st wouldn't be taken seriously. But no. In 2010, the Al Ghad newspaper ran a prank article saying that a UFO had landed near the town of Jafar in Jordan, flown by 3-meter-tall creatures. It claimed that communication networks had been severely damaged, and that townspeople were fleeing in mass panic. The town's mayor, Mohammed Milayhad, was fooled by the fake story, and immediately dispatched security forces preparing to evacuate the town's 13,000 people. Schools were also closed, as many parents refused to let their children leave their houses. The newspaper was forced to release a statement saying they'd made the alien invasion up. Al Ghad's managing editor, Musa Bahuma, apologized for any inconvenience caused, saying that they were simply having some good-natured fun. The mayor didn't quite see the funny side, however, and sued the paper for an undisclosed amount, blaming them for the chaos caused. Number 8. On a Cliff Edge. Another prank that fooled a surprising amount of people was a simple one conducted by a radio DJ from Brighton, England in 2001. The DJ told his listeners that a replica of the Titanic was going to be visible off the coast of East Sussex, which was a total lie. Hundreds of people fell for the prank and raced to the idyllic clifftop area, a renowned beauty spot. Some people drove from hundreds of miles away, travelling for several hours to catch a glimpse of the iconic ship. The problem was that the area couldn't handle that magnitude of people visiting all at once. The weight of all the people there opened up a gigantic 2-meter crack at the cliff face. Coast guards had to immediately evacuate the area and cordon it off. Less than an hour after the evacuation, the cliff face crumbled, sending large chunks of rock into the water 120 meters below. If Coast Guards hadn't been so quick to cordon off the area, it's probable that this April Fool could have had some extremely disastrous consequences. Number 7. Deadline. April Fool's jokes among colleagues are nothing unusual, but few are quite as cruel as the prank played on Glenn Howlett. Glenn worked at London City Hall and was taking a well-deserved break abroad in March. He was relaxing by the pool one day when he received an urgent email from his colleagues saying that a major project he was working on was now due earlier than expected. Sadly, Glenn didn't notice anything fishy about the new April 1st deadline and cut his holiday short to complete his work. In rushing to finish the task, Glenn overexerted himself and became so stressed that he started having heart palpitations. He ultimately collapsed and ended up in hospital. Thankfully, he made a full recovery, but on learning that the whole thing had been a massive setup by his colleagues, he decided that he couldn't take any more of the harsh London working life and took early retirement. He also sued his former employer for the emotional damage that the April Fool caused. Number 6. Assassination hoax. The history of the Middle East over the last century has been littered with conflict, tension and tragedy. It would therefore not be the ideal target for an April Fool's prank. Or so you would think. In April 1986, one Israeli intelligence officer for some reason thought it would be a good idea to send a fake report to a local radio station. The report said that Nabih Berri, leader of the Shiite Amal movement, had been seriously wounded in an assassination attempt. The report was then broadcast by the radio station in both Hebrew and English. When he heard it, Israeli Defense Minister Yitzhak Rabin interrupted a session of the Parliament's Defense and Foreign Affairs Committee. Knowing that an attack on Berri was likely to flare up tensions in the region, Rabin began making steps towards increasing militarization in Israel. It was at this point that the intelligence officer came forward to admit that he'd made up the report as a joke. He has since been court-martialed and served a 35-day detention sentence for his potentially violence-inducing April Fool. Number 5. Prisoner release. In last year's April Fool's video, we told the story of a prank news report in Romania, which said that numerous prisoners were being freed from jail early. This was widely condemned for giving cruel false hope to inmates' friends and families. It'd be pretty stupid if someone else made that exact same mistake again, right? Enter Greater Manchester Police. The police unit from the UK got into hot water over an inconsiderate tweet they sent out on April Fool's Day, which said that people could vote for a prisoner to get early release. They said that the winning convict would receive a free holiday along with $600 of spending money. The stunt massively angered relatives of victims of crime, with one describing it as warped and many calling for the tweet to be removed. A spokesperson for Greater Manchester Police apologised for the tweet, saying it is never our intention to offend or cause upset to anyone. The individual officer who had posted the prank was banned from tweeting from the account again. Number 4. Firework Fools. April Fool's Day. Fireworks. Unsupervised college girls. What could possibly go wrong? In 2015, a group of girls from Grand Valley State University in Michigan decided to set off a small number of fireworks to trick other students into thinking that something more explosive was going on. One girl threw a firecracker at her roommate as part of the dangerous prank. Thankfully, it missed that girl, but it did land in a laundry hamper, immediately setting the contents on fire. Firefighters had to be called, and the building was evacuated. Thankfully, the fire was contained to the upper level of the building, and no one was hurt. But some students weren't able to return to their dorms until a week later due to smoke damage. The girl who threw the firework didn't face legal charges, but she was reprimanded by the college and fined for the damage to the buildings. Number 3. Hanging. What better way is there to prank your ex-wife than making her believe that you've killed yourself? Well, none, according to Randy Wood from New York. For April Fool's Day 2004, Randy contacted his ex-wife, telling her to come over because he had something to show her. He then rigged a harness in a tree in his front yard, which was attached to a fake noose, making it appear as though he'd hanged himself. Funnily enough, Randy's ex didn't quite see the hilarity of finding him apparently unconscious hanging in his garden. She called 911, and fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars came rushing to the scene. When it turned out that Randy had meant the whole thing as an April Fool, he was arrested for faking an incident to dispatch emergency services and fined $1,000. Still, an April Fool that involved someone actually putting a noose around their neck, I guess this prank could have gone horribly wrong in a much worse way. Number 2. School shooting. School shootings in America occur with a tragic and worrying frequency. In the last 2 decades, over 200 people have been killed in them. Therefore, they're not really the most suitable topic for making jokes about. But that didn't stop 54-year-old Angela Timmons. On April 1st, 2014, Angela texted her daughter claiming that she could hear gunshots being fired at Virginia College, South Carolina, where she worked. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the prank didn't quite receive the reception Angela expected. Before she was able to see the follow-up April Fool's text from her mother, Angela's daughter April had called 911. Police arrived at the college minutes later, only to find that no shooting had taken place. Timmons was then arrested on charges that included aggravated breach of peace and disturbing a school. Number 1. April Fool Murderer. On April 1st, 2013, Lin Shenhao spiked the water dispenser at his flat at Shanghai University so that his roommate Wang Yang would drink from it. Lin claimed that he wanted the chemical to make the water taste funny and then have an unfortunate laxative effect on Wang. However, the effect of the prank was much worse than that. After 15 days of hospital treatment, Wang died of liver, kidney and lung failure. Lin was arrested for murder and, at trial, evidence was put forward to suggest that there was something more sinister going on than a simple April Fool gone horribly wrong. Prosecutors argued that, as he was a medical student and had used the chemical in lab experiments, he was familiar enough with it to know its effects. They also explained that the dose he used was more than 10 times the fatal dose for an adult. He had even written a paper on the properties of MDMA, the chemical in question. Lin was sentenced to the death penalty for intentional homicide and was executed in December 2015. Those were 10 more April Fool's pranks that went horribly wrong. Have you ever been victim of a prank? Or maybe you're the demon prankster? Let us know in the comments and check out last year's 10 April Fool's pranks that went horribly wrong, playing on screen now. Announcing that the substance would cause profuse sweating and wrinkled skin, the radio hosts weren't exactly lying. Turns out dihydrogen monoxide is the scientific name for water. The prank led to 150 urgent phone calls to the water department and around 30 911 calls. Revealing their prank an hour and a half later, water officials described it as akin to a terrorist act. When April Fool's fell a fortnight into her new retail job, Citra Walker decided to amuse her new colleagues by pretending the store was being robbed at gunpoint. She phoned her manager at home to report the burglary before ringing back minutes later to proclaim April.
So guys, that was the video. No, I don't know what to do. I was expecting the video to be a little bit longer. I'm sorry if my video is shorter than usual. I didn't cough once. I hope I don't jinx myself. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see all you dudes in the next video. Goodbye. Yay!